Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. He said, in a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in the town who kept coming to him with the plea, "Grant me justice against my adversary." For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually come and attack me." And the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth?" To some who are confident of their own righteousness and look down on everyone else, Jesus told this parable. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood by himself and prayed, "God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give 1/10 of all I get." But the tax collector stood at a distance. Sorry, I lost my place. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his breast and said, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner." I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home and justified before God. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and to those who humble themselves will be exalted. People were also bringing babies to Jesus for him to place his hands on them. When the disciples saw this, they rebuked him. But Jesus called the children to him and said, Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. Truly I tell you, anyone that will not receive the kingdom of God like a child will never enter it. A certain ruler asked him, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "Why do you call me good?" Jesus answered. "No one is good except God alone. You know the commandments. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not murder. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony. Honor your father and mother." "All these I have kept since I was a boy," he said. When Jesus heard this, he said to them, "You still lack one thing. Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have a treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." When he heard this, he became very sad because he was very wealthy. Jesus looked at him and said, "How hard is it for a rich to enter the kingdom of God? Indeed, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of the needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." Those who heard this asked, "Who then can be saved?" Jesus replied, "What is impossible with man is possible with God." Peter said to him, "We have left all we have to follow you." "Truly I tell you," Jesus said to them, "no one who has left home or wife or brothers or sisters or parents or children for the sake of the kingdom of God will fail to receive many times as much as in this age and the age to come eternal life." Jesus took the 12 aside and told them, "We are going up to Jerusalem, and everything that is written by the prophets about the Son of Man will be fulfilled. He will be delivered over to the Gentiles. They will mock him, insult him, and spit on him. They will flog him and kill him. On the 3rd day he will rise again." The disciples did not understand any of this. Its meaning was hidden from them, and they did not know what he was talking about. As Jesus approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard the crowd going by, he asked what was happening. They told him, "Jesus of Nazareth is passing by." He called out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Those who led the way rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, "Son of David, have mercy on me." Jesus stopped and ordered the man to be brought to him. When he came near, Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" "Lord, I want to see," he replied. Jesus said to him, "Receive your sight. Your faith has healed you." Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus, praising God. When all the people saw it, they also praised God. Hello everybody, it's Wednesday, July 9th, 2014. This is your host, Mike Callahan, and this is the Watchman News. Sorry about all the stuttering I had going on there. I apologize for that. I started out, I was going to do the King James version, and I thought, well, no, I'll do the NIV, and then yeah, well, you see what happens when I switch right before the show. Anyway, got an exciting show tonight. Before we get started, I'll tell you, it's not going to be so much biblically based tonight. Tonight it's going to be a lot of good information. It's going to be a lot of what's going on in the world. It's going to be interesting. So hang in there. Let's get this news in 2 minutes out of the way so we can get started. So without further ado, let me get the screen switched here, because I don't know if the gentleman would like me to broadcast the news in 2 minutes. Oh, well. It just won't let me screen share anymore. Oh well. Here we go. Let's get this started.
Welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Warning: both rockets and warheads are becoming commonplace in Israel as a battle between Israeli security forces and the Islamic resistance movement known as Hamas intensifies within the region. As fighter jets are reported to be continuing an offensive against militants in the Gaza Strip, experts are warning that the situation has the volatility to continue for some time, while agencies are reporting that citizens within Jerusalem and Tel Aviv are being directed to evacuate to emergency bomb shelters and ensure the proper use of biological weapons protection and emergency measures if fighting intensifies either within Israel or within the surrounding region. Economists are blaming continued doublespeak or verbiage used to intentionally disguise the truth and deceive the listener for recent reports that continue to disguise the truth surrounding a declining global economy, as experts warn that the veil of deceit continues to cover the enormity of the problems surrounding this ongoing global crisis. Economists warn that government-led stimulus measures continue to widen the divide between the increasingly wealthy within the financial markets, which utilize the false positives presented by the measures, and the rest of the world, which continues to experience a globally declining economy. The situation is leading social analysts to warn that as the populace becomes aware of the divide that is instituted and rewarded by governments artificially stimulating their economies, the world's richest nations could begin to experience governmental discontent and unrest in unheard-of proportions. Researchers are questioning how many similar cases of this story may exist following the official disclosure that several vials of smallpox, one of the most lethal diseases known to mankind, were found in an unused storage room at the National Institute of Health in Maryland. Experts within the community are questioning the entirety of the information, as records show that the lab in question was not equipped or approved to handle the virus, and they are warning that the confirmation is a reminder of the ease in which catastrophic weapons-capable toxins can move into the hands of criminals, leading many to remind the community to shift their preparations to a diverse platform that will allow the appropriate crisis management and reaction following a disaster. Islamic militants are continuing to battle for the presidential palace of Somalia following a momentary defeat by security forces, with military analysts confirming reports that we're seeing of a massive surge in both the action and preemptive chatter by Islamic extremists and other currently engaging sectarian groups worldwide. And to wrap things up, radiation experts are calling for caution and confirmation following a leak that forced the shutdown of a cooling system at reactor number 5 in Fukushima. Anti-government protests are intensifying in Africa, and a 6.3 in Vanuatu, followed by a 5.5 in Japan, perilously near the Fukushima nuclear plant, completes today's Quake Watch. And that's it for this episode of News in 2 Minutes. Research links are available at fullspectrumsurvival.com, and check back tomorrow for more news that the aware need the most.
Alrighty, news in 2 minutes. Might have to watch that over a couple of times to catch it all. I know I usually do. All right, I did forget to tell you that the opening Bible chapter was Luke 18, and I just want to point out Luke 18, verse number 8. I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly, however, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? That's what I wanted to point out. Last night I asked if everybody would maybe take a half an hour or an hour to just sit in total quiet and away from the TV and the telephone and the computer and all that, and just sit and think. And you know, what I'm going to ask of you is, you know, God, that, by the way, that is the only time God asked a question in the entire Bible. There's only one time God asked a question, and that was it. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth? And I'm asking you, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith in your house? It's very important. So, will he find faith in yourself? So, we're going to take a turn from the Bible, and tonight we have a guest. Let me try and get his image up here, if it will allow me. And I'm not so good at this. I'm learning. Oh, it kind of will. There we go. And this gentleman, I met him on Facebook, actually, but he's the founder of the St. Louis chapter of We Are Change. And I actually met him through a friend that does training for power paragliding. I don't know if he remembers that that's how I met him, but that's actually how I met him, and I missed the opportunity to actually meet him in person, which is a real shame. I didn't get out to the airfield that weekend that he was out there. But anyway, I'm very, very happy and proud to introduce Kenny Cool. You there, Kenny?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. How you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming
yeah,
on the show.
What's that?
Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. And so I guess you saw the video I posted the other day about the differences between a democracy and a republic and how people are confused intentionally. And that's kind of what prompted you to ask me to be here tonight, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's correct, because well, and I sit back.
Do you think that resonated with people? Do you think that, I understand you corrected me about the constitutional republic, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I'd never heard of a representative republic before, and that kind of, I could see how it was that, but at the same time, if we termed it a representative republic, they're also governed by our founding documents, our Bill of Rights, our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, that they're governed by those documents, and they cannot go beyond those documents like they are so much. Well, they've been doing it ever since the early 1900s, actually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what would you like me to what direction should we go in tonight? There's a lot of things we can talk about. There's as you know, a full spectrum dominance system being imposed on the lives of everyone today, and they're just attacking us from so many angles right now that I just can't sit by and let this happen anymore, because the world it's filled with chaos, but yet it's still filled with a lot of good and a lot of people out there that they with social media now they have the ability to learn about what's going on instead of being force-fed garbage from what's now the dinosaur dying mainstream media, who the average viewer is the age is 62 or 63 years old. So people just aren't watching that anymore, because they understand that, for one, they can get their media from their phone, and for two, my dad worked in mainstream media for 20-something years, so I have a lot of information on how it works and what goes on, and people just generally know that they're being lied to, and it's in the spin that they put on everything. So the whole point is, what should we talk about tonight? I mean, there's just so many places we can go. What's on your mind? What questions do you have? Where do you want to go with this?
Oh my! like you say, there's so many. It's such a full spectrum. Wow, where do you start on something like this?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't even know.
It's amazing that just now people are starting to wake up. And I noticed when you posted that video, you had a few people that were, well, not really a few, but mainly one, I believe it was, that was trying to argue your point a little bit.
Well, that's the reason why I made the video in the first place.
Right, and I fully understand that. That's like, I made a Facebook post the other day talking about the illegal immigrants that are being bussed up, and just to try and get people to think and talk a little bit. And
sure.
Really didn't have a whole lot of that go on, but at the same time, I was trying to work it out myself as to why they would possibly do something like this, and I came to the conclusion that they're actually trying to bring disease into the country. They're actually trying to start epidemics into the country. And
sure. Well, I mean, that's definitely one of their goals with this. Is, I mean, and it's a full. There's many things that are happening because of this, and the CDC saying they have no interest in this situation is appalling, and they have EMTs, standard EMTs, screening these illegal immigrants as they come into the country. These EMTs aren't even trained to detect the types of diseases that are happening in Central America and South America. Every region has their own types of unique strands of flu and different stuff that different microbes in the waters and different things like that that can mutate into different diseases as they cross into different parts of the country. And absolutely, this is something that this is something that's happening.
right, and it's scary because I mean, I'm no medical professional by any means, but
No, me either.
you know,
It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
no,
It
and
takes some reading.
right, and I do remember from simple health class in high school that diseases that are in other countries and whatnot, that our bodies aren't used to those diseases. That's why they pay attention at airlines and stuff like that. They pay attention to any goods or products that get shipped into the country because our bodies aren't used to these diseases. So to get a disease like that here would be catastrophic to the country, and it just
Sure. And who knows how long it could go undetected.
right, exactly. Now let me ask you this: Have you looked into the Healthcare Act a whole lot? Do you know a lot of what that contains?
You mean the death panels and written by insurance companies and just completely, I mean, there's things in there like turning over student loan debt from private hands to government hands. Now, what does student loan debt have anything to do with health care? Why is something like that in there? I mean, they're just slipping these things in and telling them not to read it and telling them to pass it before they can read it, and yeah. I mean, there's so many different areas to go with that. I'm sure I've forgotten more about that than I could even talk about right now.
Well, now I can connect a link with what you just said about the student loan debt.
Okay.
A couple of years back, 2 or 3 years back, there was this big deal that got passed through the government to treat corporations as people. And I started warning people then, right when I seen it. I started telling people they're bringing back debtors' prisons. That's what they're doing. And of course, you know, my tinfoil hat was too tight. And that's what they're actually doing. And so I fully believe that is interconnected with, you know, with the other. I do think that's sorry, students, but I think that's to qualify them to be able to be put in debtors' prisons, which would be just
sure. Yeah, the student loan itself is the new mortgage.
Right.
And you don't get anything for it. You don't even get a house. You don't even get a roof over your head. You don't even get a backyard to hang out with your friends in. You get a piece of paper that a lot of other people have too, that 53% of college graduates are working at Jimmy John's, Subway, Starbucks, Applebee's, working jobs that don't require degrees, and that's CNN Money Magazine reporting that.
Yeah, and I just got information, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, that as of July 1st, the student loan interest rate went up 20%.
No, it's due to. It's due to.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I did hear that too. At first they doubled it about 6 to 8 months ago, and now they're going to jack it another 20% because they can. Because why not? They control it now. They have a monopoly on it.
It's sad, and now they can actually, you know, they're going to be able to actually lock people up, and a lot of people aren't aware of this. But what I was referring to, by the way, about in the Healthcare Act is a little bit of a darker side yet, like the mandatory vaccinations and and people still want to argue it.
Oh man!
But I read it for myself about the RFID implants.
Oh yeah, it's in there.
And so I have to question is this influx of disease that's being brought into this country. Is this, is this to be able to implement that, to be able to say, okay, well, we've got all this disease in the country now, we have to give mandatory vaccinations, and
yeah, that's exactly where they're going with it. And the thing that gets me about the immigrants coming in across the country is they're holding them in these camps where our own congressmen can't even get into, and they're saying that their justification for not allowing videotaping and allowing cameras and congressmen in the facilities is because these children have their right to privacy and their rights. These illegal immigrants in our country have their rights, but yet they're going to spy on us, and they're going to watch people. They're probably going to watch this. They're watching everything that we're doing, and it's been leaked already. This is a fact. And so how do the immigrants in the camps that are being shipped in to, they won't even tell us where the kids are going. You don't just send your kids across the country like that. They're probably going to child traffickers or abusers, or they're holding drugs in their bodies. They're mules. So why do they have their right to privacy, and they don't even tell us where they're shipping the kids to and releasing them to? And then at the same time, they're spying on all of us and groping us at the airports and TSAs at the football games. And there's a terrorist hiding in your underwear when they're just letting them come in the border for just encouraging them to come over into our country. And meanwhile, Al Qaeda's hiding in my underwear that they created.
I just had to check in mine. That scared me. No, you're absolutely correct. Everything we're doing, it boggles my mind that everything we're doing is being monitored. Our conversation right now is being monitored and recorded, and
sure.
But yet we just open the southern border up and just say, hey, come on over.
Oh, I know, and it's not going to end until people have the courage to speak out, and you've got to put everything on the line. This level of evil that is usurped our constitutional republic it's very ugly, and it's not. But you have to admit it. You have to admit it to yourself that something is wrong, and people genuinely deep down inside know something is very wrong, and they have nowhere to turn to find information because all their friends and family call them crazy when they try to ask a question that doesn't fit the cookie cutter script of the dinosaur dying media that gets spewed all over everything. They're just scared to talk about it, and you can't be scared to talk about it. That is the #1 thing. People just should start following other sources of people who are out there who want to know what's going on. Start following people like Luke Radowski on Twitter and Instagram. Start subscribing to YouTube channels like WorldNet Daily and InfoWars, and start following DrudgeReport.com. Even though there's still some left-right paradigm garbage on there too sometimes, but you still have to work in that realm sometimes to talk to people that are still in that realm. So you have to talk about the left-right paradigm sometimes, but even though you and I are way past that.
Right. And I also tell people to think that whenever they do get this information, when they go and search and retrieve, and some of it you got to dig pretty deep, I also tell people to remember it's much worse than that. It's much worse than anything that you're going to possibly be able to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is way worse than we can even articulate in the short time that we have on this show. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of shows like yours popping up all over the country and all over the world, and we're winning, and they don't like it. They are so scared, and they are just using race baiting and all these old tactics that the Cloward and Piven and all these programs that they've been using over and over and over, problem, reaction, solution. Everything that they're doing is so easy to see now for those who just do the research and look at this stuff is completely fake. The terror threat in America is completely fake. Not that there aren't real terrorists out there, and not that there aren't real crazy people out there, but it's completely hyped up. You're more likely to get stung by a honeybee and die from a honeybee allergy or a peanut butter allergy than you are to get shot by a mass shooter or a terrorist. But nobody goes around hyping up honeybee stings, and nobody goes around hyping up lightning strikes. It's completely phony, and they have us fighting over these insignificant issues, keeping us hidden from the real problem and the real enemy and the real terrorists, which some of them are in our own government.
Yeah, it's sad. And now I remember, though, I'm not sure how old you are, Kenny. I'm 42. I remember back in the 80s when they started this program called Stranger Danger. And it was the very beginning of this. You know, Hitler didn't do this overnight. What he did, he took many years.
It was declassified that the United States put Hitler in power.
Oh yeah, I agree. And he took many years to condition the people to get them to the point. And that's where we are now. We are at that point. I mean, I see going back to the 80s with the Stranger Danger campaign to where we should start, worrying about, and yes, there are child abductions, and I'm even though I'm unfortunately not able to be around my children right now, I'm very protective over them. I keep a very watchful eye over them, and it's at the same time, I'm not scared. If an old man walks up to my kids in the store, I don't freak out about it or anything. But there are parents out there that are absolutely horrified at any contact from a stranger to them or their children, and that was the beginning of the process for us to stop the communication with one another. We don't have that interpersonal communication anymore, and that's going to be a downfall. That's going to be a huge downfall.
Yeah, they've made it taboo to talk about religion or politics.
Oh my goodness, yes they have. And here's the scary thing. Okay,
social control and social manipulation and various methods, and still some that they're developing today. They're using Facebook to study our personalities.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then
and alter our mood and alter our emotions.
Oh yeah, that report just came out how they had done that, and then on top of everything else, you've got
Google, Facebook is the CIA. Google is the CIA.
Oh yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah.
And then you got the other plethora of things like the SSRIs, the medications that they have people on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's absolutely petrifying in itself.
It sure is. It is, and it says right there on the insert, could cause suicide or harmful thoughts. It says right there, but no one never talks about it. No one asks if the mass shooter was on SSRI uptake inhibitors, and they 98% of the time were.
Oh yeah.
Or they were in secret mind control programs, like the Aurora killer. What was his name?
Oh gosh, I don't remember what his name was.
The one from Aurora was. It's never ending. It's never ending.
Yeah, and then it all, everything kind of comes to a head, and I don't know if you paid attention to this, but within the last few days they released and they've been building up for the last couple of years on this, but within the last couple of days they released a news story about this dragonfly virus that now all of our power grids computers are infected with, and I know I keep urging my listeners to you got to prepare mentally. You got to think what's going to happen if that power goes out, because that's one thing I can assure people is going to happen. I can assure it more than anything that right in the middle of all this, when everybody's confused, when they're scared, when they don't know what's going on, those lights are going to go out and they're not coming back on. And and it's
well, when they're shutting off all the coal power plants, like Obama says, if you want to start a coal power plant, that's fine, but you'll be bankrupt because of the carbon taxes that all his insider buddies like GE are exempt from.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, the power grid is, it does need a lot of work, and it's being prevented from being fixed. When it collapses, it's going to be a big surprise, but even there's reports that the nuclear facilities, I think it's 9 out of every 10 nuclear facilities is leaking right now, and nothing's being done about it.
No, not at all. I mean, well, Obama's got a gag order on the media for speaking about Fukushima,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, it's crazy. And I pay attention, real close attention to what's going on with Fukushima because, of course, it affects us over here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
the jet streams and then the currents take a couple years, but it gets here
yeah,
nonetheless.
yep. And they, now they've got this hurricane that's bearing down on it. So,
I
you
didn't
know,
hear about that.
yeah, it's at least it was at least a day or two ago. It was one of they were calling it one of the worst hurricanes to hit Japan.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that and hoping that because there's still those spent fuel pools and everything else that are still there and kind of barely hanging on and
So from everything that you've been monitoring, there's a lot of victories happening out there too, like the one in Marietta County here in California that happened just yesterday, of the protesters blocking the buses of illegal immigrants into their city because they don't want their city bankrupted by these illegal immigrants. And so that's a huge victory for people to be standing up and saying no, along with lots of other instances of victory and things like in the Bundy Ranch incident where the Fed stood down. That was awesome. So what other types of victories have you seen?
well, you've already named the main ones that I've seen.
Hmm.
Other than that, I've seen a lot of little individual victories, like people waking up, people starting to ask questions. Um,
Okay, that's
but
what it's going to take.
yeah, that's exactly what it's going to take, and I think we're going to see more and more of it go on because some of the stuff that they're trying to portray is just absurd. You know, I personally can't believe that they actually pulled 9/11 off as well as they have and still are. Um,
Well, I thought they did a pretty terrible job, to tell you the truth.
so did I. I mean, come on. Two buildings fall in their own footprint, and then a third building that was never hit by a plane falls
Yeah,
in its own.
I know. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
See how long that one holds up.
Exactly.
And there's still new information coming out to this day about 9/11 and secret documents that are happening. That there were the hijackers were trained in Florida, and they're linked to the Saudis, but yet we invade Iraq, not Saudi Arabia. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, the funny thing is I always ask the question. You know, it doesn't matter to me where the hijackers were trained at. I want to know where the remote control operators were trained at.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different spins on it. Nobody really knows what happened, but we do know that what they said happened didn't happen. That we know 100%. That science can show plainly that what they said happened did not happen. But it's really hard to say what did happen.
Right, and then the two incidents that has really, I think, woken a lot of people up since 9/11 have been both Sandy
Police
Hook.
state. The growing police state and the cops that are being trained that our forefathers were evil and that they were terrorists, and anyone who talks about freedom and liberty and justice is a potential threat to our country.
Right, right. And I do believe when I had met you on Facebook, I want to say that it was at that time or right around that time that Occupy Wall Street was going on.
Oh, okay.
Which was now that was a movement I stood behind. When that movement started, it wasn't a left wing movement whatsoever.
It hadn't been co-opted yet.
No.
But it was started by what is it, Snap-on or something on.org.
Uh-huh.
What was it? What is it called?
Gosh, I can't remember. It's been so long, but
George Soros owns that.
Right, right. Well, see, that's just it, though. It's the world is a play, man, and
yeah.
What they're waiting for is they want us to react, and that's what makes the situation so sticky. Because when we do stand up and we react, that's when we're going to see the martial law take effect.
Sure. I just see how funny it is that George Soros funds movements like Occupy Wall Street and then funds movements over in Ukraine and then just hands Ukraine over to a bunch of neo-Nazis.
Oh, yeah.
How is that? How is nobody saying anything about that?
Well, it's kind of one of those. I think as far as here in the United States, it's one of those. It's not in my backyard kind of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately,
And it's just been going downhill over there in Russia, and now people are dying now over there.
oh yeah, and I keep trying to tell everybody that this time it's not a war against a certain nation or a certain religion or anything. This is a war against humanity.
Yeah, yeah. And until people start pointing the microscope at the real problem, the elite billionaires, multi-billionaires. I think a billion isn't even a lot to these guys. Like these people, the 0.00001%, the real controllers. It's not even about money. It's not. It's about domination. They're psychopaths, and psychopaths gravitate to institutional protection. They gravitate to it because they're protected by it. Pedophiles gravitate to CPS, the Child Protective Pedophile Services. The bullies gravitate to police. Not that all police officers are bad. There's a lot of amazing, awesome police officers out there, but there's a lot of really horrible police officers out there too. And the good ones, unfortunately, the bad ones give the good ones a bad name.
Oh, I agree. And you mentioned Child Protective Services, and I'm not going to go into it a lot, but I'm involved with a situation with my children that
It's a state-run kidnapping institution.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, my soon-to-be ex, she didn't necessarily get him involved, but let's just say she seized upon the opportunity when they did get involved. And oh yeah, and she has no idea what's coming, not only from them, as but here's the crazy part. All I was trying to do when they spoke to me was try to get the truth out to them, right? That's all I wanted to do.
I mean, you're only 6 times more likely to be molested in Child Protective Services than you are in your home, but
Right. Well, I mean, and thankfully, and I say that very loosely, she's got custody of them, so they don't have custody. But what got me was I'll go into it just a little bit. My child, he was diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and they're pointing the finger at me, saying, I was just terrible, this bad, this mean parent, right? But
I get that.
Yeah, they only interviewed a handful of people, but they didn't interview anybody that had spent any time around my family.
Sure, no, it's not about that. It's about getting your kids so they can sell them.
Oh yeah, I would agree. And
hop them up on medications. The average institutionalized child's on 4 psycho medications.
Right.
I don't remember the name of what they call those types of drugs, but
psychotropic.
Psychotropic. Thank you. Psychotropic drugs. It's horrible what they're doing to these kids.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And then the other intention that they have is just merely splitting up families. I mean, they're fully in support of single parents, and it's really sad.
Sure.
I'm probably going to have to seek legal charges, both civil and criminal, against the Child Protective Services in Missouri, and that's what I'm looking into doing now, because they wouldn't even. I tried giving them names of people to contact and stuff like that, and they really showed no interest in doing that. So it's like I got to force them just to get the truth out of why and where my poor son's where he got his PTSD from. I mean, it's
where do you think he got it?
Well, his mother screamed and yelled every day, all day long. It was so bad. Yeah, it was so bad it was causing me severe anxiety issues. We lived with another lady. She had to seek psychological medical help as a result of all the screaming and yelling that my wife did at the kids, soon-to-be ex-wife did at the kids. It was really bad, and I know where he got the PTSD from.
Maybe he'll be a great day. And I don't want to make light of the situation. I'm really sorry to hear that, but they have the new brain chips coming out where they can put a a brain chip in his head, and they can give him a digital lobotomy now. You think maybe he'll want to go through something like that? That's what they're going to do for PTSD now. That's what Ray Kurzweil and Google and all these top tech companies, they're investing in brain chips and biological. They're going to create biological androids.
You know what? I've seen that, and I researched a little bit about it, and no, and that's part of what scares me with the situation, because
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're not a loving parent if you don't put a biological brain chip in your child's head who has PTSD. What's wrong with you?
Right, exactly.
What is wrong with you? You must be a really horrible parent.
See, and I'm smart enough not to fall for that game.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't. His mother's not. She'll do whatever they tell her to do, and what a lot of.
If you don't want to inject your kids with 3 injections, 3 vaccines at a time, to where it could break their blood-brain barrier and cause bleeding on their brain and have them start convulsing and seizing up right in front of you. If you don't want that to go through if you don't want the metal soaking into your kid's brain, then you're a horrible parent and you can't send them to school here.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty disgusting.
This makes Hitler look like Jesus. You know what
I
I'm
have
saying?
a lady at work who is the same lady who tried telling me that a democracy and a republic are the same thing. This poor lady is now dealing with a damaged child because she knew in her gut that her daughter shouldn't be getting these vaccines. And she said, no, don't you think 3 is a little bit too many? And she told me the story about how her poor daughter was convulsing on the floor right in front of her and seizing out. And now her daughter has to go through special school, and now she's a special child. And that's just loving, right?
Right, exactly.
It's not a loving parent if you don't want a special child.
Right, exactly. I knew somebody for 2 years that I was trying to explain to him about vaccines and what were in them and all that. Now, he had worked with the medical community for, well, I believe he's been there over 30 years, and I battled it, because he kept telling me, oh, no, and all that, they wouldn't
That's
be doing
another
it.
good way to get CPS banging on your door.
Oh, yeah, and I told him, I said, just read the insert, man. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, my God, I know.
This guy is an extremely intelligent person. I mean, I highly look up to him. You know him. I'll tell you off the record who he is.
Okay.
But I know you've met him. But and I highly respect this man, and he's brilliant. And finally, after 2 years, I got him to read the damn insert. And he figured it out pretty quick after he read that insert.
Sure.
Yep. But what
it just takes just have an open mind, and in the rep, just look into it. That's all I tell people is just look into it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you something that I don't think is. I mean, at least we try to tell the truth, unlike these psychos that are just filtering down this compartmentalized garbage.
You mean we're not the psycho ones?
Oh, to some people, absolutely we are, and it's very dangerous to talk about the things that we talk about, but we have to. We have no choice. Children have no future if we don't.
Exactly.
They have no future, and unless they talk about, will the future even need humans? The top people in Google and Ray Kurzweil and these people. I mean, if you know who I'm talking about, you know that these people are talking about. They're talking about our civilization as if we're extinct or going extinct, or as if it's horrible. It's horrible. So if they are able to prevail, then we're toast. We're done.
Oh, exactly. And that's their plans. Population reduction. That's most definitely one of their biggest plans.
Absolutely. They don't even need us anymore.
No, I've tried to explaining it to people that, first of all, the technology we have, I mean, I look at my cell phone, it's like a couple years old. I've got an HTC Resound, and it's a remarkable device, and it's still, even what you buy today, I'm sad to say I am a phone geek, but I don't even know what's really out there today. Even the latest stuff that's out there today is nothing compared to what they have, and they've got just stores and stores of this stockpiled back. They don't need us. They need a few slaves. They need
Well, when they write in their own books, like John P. Holder in the White House Science Czar, Eco Science, look it up. It says right in there, we're gonna put chemicals in the food and water to make them sterile and slowly kill them off. It says it right in their texts, right in their manuals. It's not my opinion. It's not your opinion. We're just pointing out that these people are psycho and that they're openly writing about it because that's what psychopaths do. They like to do it right in front of people. They like to get it right out in the open. That's what egomaniacs do. And that's what these people are. They gravitated to this position of power, and they're completely out of their minds, and they're jacking our food and water, and they're taking our kids, and it needs to stop. And they're opening our borders and letting drugs and diseases into our country on record to destroy the country, and nobody's sitting, and most people are just in la-la land. But good thing 53% of people in America don't identify with Democrats or Republicans. So there are more of us than there are of them.
Well, what scares me though is it's got to come to a point, and people are going to increasingly start standing up and speaking out. What scares me is it's going to reach that point to where they pull that plug on the power, and when they do, that's going to be exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I keep telling people.
It's probably going to be spotty. It's probably not all going to go down at once. It's probably going to be spotty. And they're just going to make it a controlled chaos that they control to justify something new that they want.
Right, exactly. And I keep trying to tell people when all this happens, you have to build communities. You have to, there's a lot of people out there. I was a prepper for 3 years, and I was pretty set up. I was doing pretty well with the things I had. Unfortunately, I lost everything. But even that, it doesn't matter if you've got 2 years of food stored back and if you've got 80,000 gallons of water stored back.
What's the motto of the Boy Scouts?
Always be prepared. Always
be prepared. There is nothing wrong with being prepared. You're not crazy if you want to be prepared, like they'd like everyone, all these liberals and all these people out there to think. You're not crazy because you want to be prepared, okay? So I don't understand why there's a big deal about preppers and that kind of stuff. I mean, have food and water. That's what humans survive on. What is wrong with having a backup storage of food and water in case of a natural disaster or some sort of catastrophe?
Well, exactly.
What's wrong with that?
And I do tell people that they need to go beyond that too, because not only store some stuff back, but also have ways to purify water, have ways to grow food and to...
Absolutely. Seeds are one of the most valuable commodities on the planet when those types of situations do occur, and they do occur. They're occurring right now all over the world. Tyranny and destruction and oppression is the norm across history. It's the norm. So when we talk about being prepared and having guns to protect ourselves from tyrannical government, it's not crazy. It is the way it's always been, and it's the way we need to be protected and stand up for our rights so our children can be protected. It's pretty simple.
Oh, exactly. And I urge people to go on to like YouTube. And one of the projects that I wanted to do, and I just don't have the funds to do it right now for the show, was to show people how to build an emergency water filter. And, it's real simple. I mean, you cut the bottom out of a 2-liter Coke bottle. They tell you to use activated charcoal, but I mean, in a pinch, you could just use any charcoal that's not instant light or something like that. You just put some material down in the well, it was the top of the bottle. Now it will be the bottom of the bottle because it's inverted. You just stick some material down there, about 4 inches or so of charcoal. put another maybe 4 inches or so of sand and fill the rest up with some small rock. And there you go. You've got a water filter that will save your life, that will protect you. Now, you still need to boil the water because it doesn't take out viruses and bacteria and stuff, but it'll filter out all the other stuff. And it's just a quick, simple thing. You can find videos of it on YouTube and whatnot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, shifting gears really quick, what do you think about Hillary getting in on 2016?
I don't think there's going to be another election.
Really?
No, I really don't. I think this summer's it, man.
All right, well, I know they're definitely propping her up to be, and you know, and you probably hate women if you're not for Hillary.
Yeah, you gotta love that.
You must hate women. I mean, that's what they're doing. If you hate Obama, you're a racist. So if you hate Hillary, you must be a woman hater.
Yeah, I think it's just a distraction, to be honest. I don't. I really don't see us having another election. I think.
Okay.
You know, we talked about the immigrants and disease and stuff. You know, it doesn't take that long for a serious disease to spread, and you were talking about how, you know, they're shipping these kids all over the country, which they are. You know, you put that big puzzle together. Yeah,
they're getting them. They're flying them all over. They're putting them on airplanes.
Right, and so if you put the big picture together, it looks to me like they're trying to infect as many people as possible. And if you know about how quickly disease spreads, man, I don't think we're going to have till 2016. I think we've got this summer. I'm sure you know about the economy and how bad off it really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't see them being able to keep this dog and pony show going on.
Well, I agree that they can't go on forever. Who knows when it'll finally come to a screeching halt, but hopefully people are prepared, and the only way is with information. Knowledge really is power, and this is a land of immigrants and a land of people who our forefathers sacrificed a lot for us to be here. And it's not that we don't want people in the country. It's not about race. It's not about, I mean, we feel terrible for these people, but let's fix our country so we can help Mexico fix their country. How is destroying America with Mexico's impoverished class? How is destroying America with Mexico's impoverished class going to help anything?
Exactly. And some of the scariest words I've ever heard, and I'm glad that I remembered. I've thought about this earlier. I wanted to say it to you. The scariest words that I ever have heard. If you listen to economists in this country and stuff like that talk about, you know, businesses and business ethic and all that, they'll tell you, well, we got to better compete in the global economy. Those are the worst words that you could ever hear, especially in this country, because a lot of people don't really sit and think about that. The only way we can better compete in the global economy is by lowering our living standards.
Oh, I know. That's what they want you to think.
You know, it's really sad, and everybody's falling for it. And,
sure.
You know.
Oh yeah. If you don't live in there's now investing in development in these major cities of 200 square foot apartments and 200, 400 square foot little boxes that people can live in and pay more. They'll pay 3 times as much for the same square footage, but you know they're going to do it to help the planet.
Exactly. I did a show, it was like my second or third show, where I talked about things like the NDAA and the internment and resettlement operations document, and the other thing was Agenda 21. And that's all part of the Agenda 21 plan. It's all right.
People need to look that one up. Agenda 21. It's something we could talk for 10 hours about, and it is evil.
Oh my goodness.
It is evil. And it's happening right here in St. Louis. And you're not in St. Louis, but it's happening in every state in the country right now.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's it scares me because all people have
Rosa Corey did a great documentary on it.
Oh really? I'll have to check that out myself.
Sure. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. Now I did provide when I did that show. I did provide in the about. I did provide the link right to the UN's website, right there. They can
Yep.
get the PDF right off of their. I mean, this is.
It's right there. It's right there on their website.
Yeah,
It's right there.
it's not hidden.
It's not hidden. None of it's hidden. They love it. They get off on it being right in our face.
Oh,
They
and
get off on it. And people are, no one wants to look. Everyone's too scared to look because then they're worried they're going to have to do something about it. And they will.
well,
That's
no,
why I can't not do anything about it anymore. I mean, I have so much information that people need to hear, and I'm not perfect. I'm not special. I just looked at it, and now people have to know this stuff. It's unfortunate,
that's
and
right.
it's just the way it is.
Unfortunately, we're becoming civilization to where we lack responsibility, and we don't want to take responsibility for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if, I think that is a huge part of why people don't look and why they because I think it's fear, and I think they just want to avoid responsibility. Oh well, this this political party will take care of it, or that political party will take care of it. When both political parties are owned by the same people that are
Sure.
implementing this. I mean,
Yeah, that's a false narrative. False left, false right, full spectrum dominance. It's the way they've always done it. It's just covert now. If they can't conquer by conquest anymore because people always bring them down. They look and then they take it over. So they're doing it covertly, and it's on a global scale. It's massive. It's so huge. So I know that's why everyone's just, they seem overwhelmed. What do we do? What do we do? Well, all you have to do is something, and then it spreads, and then we win. We're winning right now.
yeah, yeah, we are most definitely winning.
Yeah. So there's nothing to get discouraged or sad or angry about. It's just, it's an ugly job, but someone's got to do it. Someone's got to bring these criminals to justice and hold them accountable, and someone's going to have to do it. So I guess it's going to have to be us.
Yeah, I mean, well, every movement that's actually meant anything has started out grassroots, and
Yeah.
even if we look at the founders of this country, it's
Well, do you see the thousands protesting the Federal Reserve in Germany?
no, actually, I have not.
Did you see that? It was just last week. No media coverage, of course.
Right. Now, would this have anything to do with? I do know that the people of Germany was a little bit upset over. Germany was requesting proof that we had their gold reserves, and all of a sudden, real quick, Germany, as far as the government's concerned, backed down and said, "Oh no, it's okay. We know you got it." And I heard that the German people were rather upset. Now, is this protest to do with that, or was this
I
something
didn't
else?
know. No.
Oh wow.
Luke Rudowski was covering it. Go to wearechange.org, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see Luke in Germany. Or no, he was in London. I'm sorry, because Big Ben was in the background. He's in London, not Germany. I'm sorry. Wrong location.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a protest in London.
Wow, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. But there's protests going on all over the country and all over the world right now because of this awakening, but the dinosaur media is not covering it. Only alternative media is putting out true information right now. And so just get plugged into all these sources: InfoWars, WorldNet Daily, We Are Change, Breitbart. Not everyone's perfect, and not everybody always agrees on everything, but we've got to create a debate, and we've got to create a conversation about it.
Oh, exactly, and that's why I decided to start doing this, because I know myself. I picked I pick a few that I enjoy listening to, and everybody finds a little bit something different, and others.
That's right. That's how we know we're winning, because we have these sources to get our media from now.
Exactly, and the only thing I fear is
competition, true competition of media.
Oh, exactly. I just don't think it's going to be around a whole lot longer.
Well, I think we're winning, and I'm really positive about the future, and I do believe in being prepared, but I think we're going to win, and I'm pretty sure we're winning right now, so
Oh,
I know it's 8 o'clock, so is that all the time we have?
we can go over. That doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just very positive about the outlook because people are hungry for this information. They're hungry for it. It's just they're only hungry for it when they're not around their friends.
Isn't that sad? The what do they call that in psychology? I'm a big psychology nut, by the way. I'm
Oh,
passionate about psychology, real psychology, not psychology that you take a pill for. Um,
uh-huh.
but they call that mass. Oh well, it's when people are stupid when they get in mass. You know.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know about that. I don't know about the science behind it. I just see it right in front of me. I see it happening right in front of me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's prevalent.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe that it's gone as far and as long as what it had. I can't understand why people aren't turning that TV off a little bit more.
They are.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
guess.
The ratings are plummeting right now. MSNBC on their busiest show is getting a couple 100,000 viewers, where years ago they were getting a million or two.
Oh yeah, no,
They're plummeting.
I know
They're,
the mainstream media. That's plummeting. But things like entertainment and sports, you know.
oh yeah, well that's a whole nother conversation of tribalism, and that's ingrained deep, deep in our psyche.
Oh, exactly, and that's the part that scares me because that is what's adjusting, if you will, the personalities of people.
Yeah, they've hijacked our psyche. Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. They've hijacked. They understand us very well. They have spent billions on understanding our mind so they can control us. They are so far ahead of us that the average not us, but the average person, that it's silly, silly
Oh
how far
yeah.
ahead of these people are, and controlling mass populations and creating coups and just dominance, just dominating people. They're great at it. I mean, that's what they've always done, and that's how it's always been. But they've got this fake construct of entertainment and sports and Madison Avenue to keep everybody distracted while they loot and plummet all the great things that our forefathers have helped the ones to help us achieve. So they're just basically looting us.
Oh yeah, and then what's scary on that is they're a step ahead of even what you said too. I just spoke the other night about the smart meters and the connection to Energy Star devices and the modern monitoring that they're doing of us that a lot of people are totally unaware of.
Sure.
It's starting to come out. If people will pay attention, it's starting to come out about how it's right in your contract for your cell phone that they can turn on the microphone or the camera anytime they please and monitor you.
Yeah.
People are, and they're starting to wake up a little bit to that and saying, oh, okay, but there's no outrage like there should be. But a lot of the people are still kind of denying the stuff about the monitoring equipment that's in our televisions and stuff like that, or cable TV boxes and stuff like that. And I know it really does sound like tinfoil hat stuff, but it's
No,
not.
the flicker rate on your TV is set at a certain flicker rate to put your brain at a certain wavelength. It's scientific.
Amen, brother. That's why
Scientific.
I don't watch it.
It's not a theory. It was set up that way, and the person who invented the TV admits it.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly.
So it's of course the TV is a weapon. It was designed as a weapon.
Yes. I mean, there's cable TV here, and I don't watch it
From its core.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't watched TV, Kenny, in
Neither have I.
about
Neither have I. I watch some movies on Netflix every once in a while, some shows on Netflix every once in a while, very rarely. No more TV. It's entirely cut off in my house, and no sports. I don't participate in that stuff. Yeah, every once in a while it's great to watch some playoff games and stuff like that, but as far as that whole tribalism, fake war simulation mindset it's of the past. It's not necessary.
Exactly, exactly. It
It's
was
like the Romans
oh,
fighting to the death.
exactly. And there again, I was a bad parent. You know, a couple of years ago, I said no more TV in the household, and got rid of cable TV, and
Good for you.
it scares me now because they're right back with that television again, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to control it. But um, and that's okay. Hopefully, the couple of years that they went without it will do them some good. I think it
Sure.
probably will. You know, now I got involved in playing video games a little bit. I'm not a gamer by any means, but
Uh-huh.
uh, I do like playing the Battlefield series, and
Okay.
very interesting though.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
got some games that I play too. Sure, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. It's just that you've got to, you've got to wake up too. You got to
right,
wake up and smell the roses.
you have to control it. You can't let it
Yeah,
control you.
yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
but what freaked me out with Battlefield, I mean, because I've been a staunch Battlefield player. Not that I'm playing all the time or anything. I just love the game, and I this is no secret. I mean, it's kind of common sense. Every time there was a push for war, of course, you know the factions on the Battlefield game that was to be coming out would be against those people, whether it be Russians or Middle Easterners or whatever. And something scary, something really scary came out. Battlefield just it's still in beta stage right now. They came out with a new game called Battlefield Hardline, and now it's police against civilians.
Yeah, it's all propaganda training. They're training it. They're training. The ROTC programs are teaching the kids that veterans uh, and people that listen to alternative media are potential terrorists. I mean, they're sending the MIAC document that they sent to the police departments right here in Missouri are saying to look for Ron Paul bumper stickers and keep a watch out for people with anti-government propaganda and paraphernalia in their cars and to call, they're just completely scaring the daylights out of these cops to turn them against us. But the good thing is a lot of the military and the police are waking up, and they see it directly on the inside. They see it happening right before their eyes, so they are waking up. But then you still have the ones that are on the power tripping, juicing up their steroids, getting off on killing innocent people in some cases. You still have those ones running the muck too.
Oh, most definitely, and it's you're right. They're trying to transform people's minds. You know,
Openly.
Alex Jones, and I really don't watch Alex anymore. The main reason why is because I'm tired of all the advertising. But uh, that and I don't know. He's got a lot of good information.
He's awesome. I
Yeah,
love him.
yeah. I mean, I
He's one of
can't.
the most dedicated people to freedom and liberty on the planet, if not the most dedicated
Right.
on the planet. He is a hard-working dude, and he's not perfect, and there's a lot of other people doing great stuff too. But he really he's building a very impressive alternative media operation, and he's getting a lot of he's waking a lot of people up. So I gotta give him that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I won't disagree with any of that. He's always saying it's one of his mottos. There's a war on for your mind, and he's absolutely correct. I mean,
Sure. Yep. Well, man, I have a call here in about 5 minutes, a business call. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed being on this interview with you. I'm going to share it to some people who probably didn't have time to watch the whole thing or whatever. But thank you very much for doing what you're doing, and hopefully you could be on. I'm thinking about starting a show. Maybe you'll come on as one of my guests one of these days.
oh, most definitely. Yeah, you just let me know when. I sure will. I definitely appreciate you coming on. I thank you very much for taking your time out and checking us out and for spreading the word.
All right, will do. Have a great night and talk to you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. You too, brother.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye bye. Alrighty, folks. That was Kenny Cool. again, he founded the St. Louis chapter of We Are Change, the much larger part of it being with Luke Rudowski. Check them out as well, wearechange.org. You can check them out on YouTube, We Are Change. And a lot of good information there. You might have to go back through and listen a few times. There was a lot of good information there. Hopefully soon we'll have more guests, and hopefully we'll have Kenny back on again sometime soon. And I appreciate everybody for watching or listening. And like I always say, you know, be one with your spirit. Think about the Bible chapter that I opened up with. You know, when God asks if He'll find faith on the earth, you know, start with your household. Start there. We got to do something. We've got to do something. It's here and it's happening and it's now. And there's like Kenny had pointed out, there's literally thousands of us that are doing everything we can to get the word out, but it takes you to listen. So please listen. Please listen. I don't have the answers really on what to do, because the more we do, the more they're going to fight back and the uglier the situation's going to get. But a lot of us have been out there trying to wake people up for quite some time now. And unfortunately, it's gotten so far and it's gotten to this point. It's definitely going to get worse before it gets better. But hang in there. We got to do it. We have to do it. So again, be one with your spirit. Pray. Take some time out. Talk to God. It's probably the most important thing you can do right now. And then get on the internet. Turn that TV off and start researching some of this stuff. Alrighty, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you all have a good evening. And take care.